All right, everybody, it's time for our preview of this week's championship games. I got Shane, the professor, here with me, and he's got all the stats to break this thing down and analyze it game by game. Shane, how are you, man?
Oh, not too bad. How are you, buddy?
I can't complain. So, you got the stats. Lead it off, man. Which game you want to start with first?
All right, let's start with SEC championship: Georgia versus
Oh,
Alabama.
you start with the best. Okay.
And Georgia is a 6.5 point opening favorite for tomorrow night.
Okay.
Georgia's averaging 40.7 points per game and only allowing 6.9 versus Alabama scoring 42.7 a game, but only and they're allowing 19.9 points per game. But Alabama, their big issue this year, they cannot run the football worth a crap. And
That
it
is
has
true.
shown time and time again.
That is true. They cannot run the ball. Um,
It has shown its ugly head multiple times this year.
do you have
Especially against Florida, really, showed it. The game they should have lost.
what do we have as far as do you have any stats as far as run defense and that kind of thing?
I didn't get to that point. I
That
just
that's fine.
got
That's okay. That's okay. Um, so 6.5 point favorite. I think that's a fair line. I would have thought.
yeah.
I would have
I
thought
would have thought
touchdown favorite.
higher.
No, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to put Alabama much more than a touchdown underdog just because they're Alabama and what they did for so long. It could very well be worse. I was talking to somebody. My Alabama's going to have to play a perfect game. We know that.
Yeah.
The
You can't ask Bryce Young to just drop back and pass it 40, 50 times, against
No,
that Georgia defense. You've got to
that's
keep them run honest, or Bryce Young's just going to get smacked time and time
well.
again.
What I told somebody is what Alabama. My thinking is they need to go into a mass protect where you have 8 blockers and you just send Mechie out there and get him in space and throw the ball to him and let him do his thing. I think that's going to be their only chance. I mean, is get those receivers in space and get them the ball and let them run.
That's all you really can do.
Because I don't see them running the ball against Georgia, and they're going to be in the backfield the whole game.
Yeah.
And you got to hope for some Georgia turnovers. Um, you know, um, Saban's, you know, he's not used to being in this spot. So, it'll be interesting. And the Alabama team's not used to being in this type of spot. They're not used to
Yeah.
being, the underdog like this. So we'll see how they respond. And with that being said, though, Georgia's not used to this either.
No.
Yes, they
Georgia's
did
only
just.
allowing. Yeah, I have it up. Georgia is running for 201 yards a game on the ground, and they're only allowing 79.4 yards, on the ground a game.
So we'll see how Georgia responds as the as the big dog.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
Bama's running for 150 yards a game versus and only allowing 79 yards a game on the ground. So it's pretty
really,
even there actually.
where is Bama giving up most of the yards through the air? Because they
Yeah.
said the worst defense that Saban's had since 2007.
213 yards a game through the air. 234 completions out of 365 passes.
Okay.
64% completion percentage.
Now I will say this: over the last since the Tennessee game, Alabama's defense has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, they really tightened it up because Florida A&M and stuff that they were horrible. Those games. Yeah, the last couple they finally tightened it up because
All right,
those numbers were far worse.
all right. Give your prediction. What's the score, Shane?
I honestly don't think Georgia. I mean, I don't think Alabama's going to be able to keep it close. I think it starts with a defensive fight, but I'm going to go 27 to 14 for Georgia.
Alabama 34-28.
I don't think it's going to get real high scoring. I think the defenses are going to keep it to a slugfest. It's going to come down to whose special teams make the better plays and who gets the big turnover.
That will favor Georgia if it's a low-scoring game.
Yeah, Bama's gonna have to force. I would say roughly 3 Georgia turnovers. They're gonna have to force to be able to keep it.
I mean, yeah, you may be right. Okay, where to next?
All right, Big Ten, Iowa versus Michigan. Michigan opens as an 11-point favorite.
Ooh, that seems kind of a big spread to me, don't it? You?
Yeah, Michigan is scoring 37.3 points per game, allowing 17.1 points per game. Iowa is scoring 25.7 and allowing 17.2. And they did not meet during the regular season.
What's the key to this game?
Iowa's going to have to keep it close defensively. Michigan, if they can run the ball the way they're used to running it, and they have a 2-quarterback system. If they're able to do what they want it well, it's going to come down to it's all going to be on that Hawkeye defense, forcing turnovers, forcing 3-and-outs. And their special teams, they're going to have to make Michigan, go the length of the field. They cannot give the Wolverines offense a short field. And Iowa's going to have to force turnovers. They're not well known for, marching the field. Their defense forces turnovers and gives their offense a short field. Can Iowa's offense put enough points on the board? I doubt it.
So, give me a score.
I would go say roughly 37-10 Michigan.
I was going to say 31-10 Michigan, so we're close on that one. Yep. I agree with you. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't see Iowa's defense making enough stops to keep the game close.
No, not at all.
All right, next up. Tonight's Pac-12 championship game, Oregon versus Utah. Utah is a 2.5-point favorite coming in. And Utah crushed Oregon 38-7 in the first game they played a couple weeks ago.
They did.
They creamed them in every way. Oregon, 33.2 points per game, and they're allowing 24.4. Utah is 35.2 points per game and allowing 21.5.
Think it's going to be a replay of the last one?
Probably. It may, I don't think it'll be as wide of a score as the first time. I think it's more of a defensive fight early, but I think Utah's offense, is the difference. It's going to come down to can the Ducks, offense, not turn the ball over, when it counts, and can they, convert third downs, which they've been horrible at the past couple of weeks. Brown is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He can, he can move the pocket, he can run, he can do a little bit of everything. He has, there's all kinds of targets all over the field, but their problem is, against the Utah defense, which is going to put pressure, you're not going to be able to run the ball. You're going to have to use play action pass. You're going to have to spread them out and hope, for some holes. And when you get a chance to take a deep shot, you got to hit them. But you cannot turn the ball over.
Great analogy. Way to break it down. Okay. Where do you want to go to next?
I'm going to say, score-wise, Utah wins again, probably 30-20.
Okay. I'll go along with that.
Next up is the Big 12 championship game, Baylor versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State opens as a 5.5-point favorite, and Oklahoma State won the first game in the middle of the season, 24-14. I think that game was in Waco. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Oklahoma State is scoring 31.8 points per game and allowing 16.4. Baylor is 33.4 points per game and allowing 19.4. But Oklahoma State's defense has been the difference this year. They're the number 3 defense in the land. They're the number 1 run defense, and I think they're like number 2 or something. Pass defense. This game comes down to can Baylor do anything on the ground. You're not going to be able to just drop back and throw it all over the field. Like Oklahoma did to them, last week. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
They're not a team that's meant for that kind of game. They're going to have to be able to run the football. They're going to have to force turnovers, or their defense is going to have to make the difference if Baylor's going to have any chance at all.
Something tells me I like Baylor in this one, 23-13.
I'm going to roll the dice and say Oklahoma State wins this one and goes into the playoff. I'll say 20-17. This one's going to stay close.
Okay, we're next.
ACC championship game: Wake Forest versus Pitt.
All
Pitt
right.
opens as a 3-point favorite. Wake is 42.9 points per game and allowing 29.1. Pitt is scoring 42.8 and allowing 23.2. The difference here is Wake Forest secondary has been one of the worst in the land all year long. They have been torched. And Kenny Pickett and that receiving core, I think they are just gonna tear that secondary for Wake Forest apart. It's gonna come down to can Wake Forest offense keep up, with Kenny Pickett, because their defense, unless they change something, it's not gonna be pretty for them. Wake can score, but Pitt's got a much better defense than what Wake has saw all year long.
Good point on that right there. I like your analogy on that. What do you think? Who's got it?
I think Pitt wins. Honestly, I'm gonna say it's gonna be 45-20, maybe 30, somewhere in there. It's gonna be, Pitt's gonna run away with it. It's gonna come down to can Wake make enough plays.
And tell me, let's see. Oh, where do we get? Give me a score. Or did you just name it? I'm sorry, I was reading something. Shane?
Yeah. All right, I got it. Yeah.
All right.
I think Pitt's gonna win this in pretty easy, 45-20, probably 25, somewhere in there.
All right.
I think it's an easy Pittsburgh win.
Where to now?
The American Athletic Conference Championship game: Houston versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati opens as a 10.5-point favorite. They did not meet during the regular season. Houston is scoring 38.7 points per game and allowing 19.8. Cincinnati's scoring 39.6 a game and allowing 15.8.
I'm going out here. Houston pulls the upset.
Yeah, Cincinnati has really struggled against, some of the crappier teams in that conference. They blew out some early. They got a huge win on the road at Notre Dame, which is not an easy place to go get a win at any time.
No.
But it's I think they're gonna have their quarterback is one of the best in the land. They can they have targets all over the field. Defensively, they are good. It's can their offense make plays against a decent Houston defense. Cincinnati's got a test here. This is going to probably be the best. This is going to be the best test Cincinnati's had all year long.
So that's all of them, right?
Yeah.
All
I'd
right.
say Cincinnati 20-17.
All
It's
right,
going to be a close one.
Give me your top four. Give me your playoff 1 through 4. How they rank going in the playoff?
Georgia's going to be number 1 overall. Michigan will probably be number 2. They'll win easily, as will Georgia. I think Oklahoma State wins, and they will be number 3. And Cincinnati will probably end up being that 4th team in. There's just not really enough of, Alabama has just not impressed me enough to even try to get them in. Notre Dame, you could argue they're 11-1. Their only loss was to Cincinnati, but they've been so inconsistent all year long. Brian Kelly's gone, so I'm going to say no way to that. Them
Yeah, we're
getting
gonna have
in.
after we do the playoffs. We're gonna have to do a show about. Well, we'll wait till all of it's done when the coaching hire and talk about these coaching hires because some of them are head scratchers. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was mentioned. I was watching an interview with one of the head guys for the playoff committee, and coaching changes can be used in the final round for setups.
Right. Okay, you ready for my 4?
Yep.
Alabama number 1, Michigan number 2, Ohio State number 3, and Georgia number 4.
I can't see Ohio State getting in unless Iowa somehow pulls this one out, pulls a rat out of the hat. I mean, if they can keep it close, if it's a 1-score game in the 4th quarter, watch out. It's anything's possible. You don't know what to expect with these guys week in and week out.
Yeah, the madness. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I mean,
so
if Houston, let's just say, Iowa and Houston both win, now you're gonna have all kinds of crazy stuff. And if somehow Bama beats Georgia, we're gonna have conflagration here. It's gonna be anyone's game.
So who's your national champion?
I'd say Georgia. They've been tops all year long. And the thing is, they just got their top 3 receivers back in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
And Pickens came back 2 weeks ago, and then Blaylock came back last week against Georgia Tech. Those two are the faster guys on that outside, that they haven't had all year long. You're going to see a different Georgia offense than what we've saw all year. This is going to be, Alabama's secondary is going to have a test. No, those guys are fully healthy. This is the most healthy Georgia's been all year long.
Well, somebody
scary.
a while ago said they had a lot of injuries. He told me, was telling me Georgia had a lot of players out. So I
they had it the past couple weeks, but they're pretty much all back now.
Well, my heart says Alabama, but got to go with my head. Georgia's the best team. I think Georgia wins the national championship.
Yeah, even if Bama beats them, Georgia's still going to get in.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. Well, anything to add for this before I get it up for our viewers?
Just everybody sit back and enjoy. It's going to be a fun weekend of games tonight. Starts it off 8:00. The Pac-12 championship is out in. Trying to think where they play in the 49ers stadium out there in California.
Candlestick?
Yeah, the Candlestick's gone.
Oh yeah, that's right. Why am I thinking Candlestick's still there? Well, Shane, it's been fun. I will get this edited and get it up ASAP.
Alrighty, can catch you soon.
And I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.